Life becomes easier once you decide to do what you want to do. Most people optimize a life around the things that they feel that they should do. They are conditioned to believe that the way they probably have seen someone else do it, or something that they have seen on TV, or just things that they have been taught during childhood, that that is the correct way of living, when really you get to make up your life however you want to make up your life. You hold the blueprint. And the moment you decide for yourself to embrace ease, and the moment you decide for yourself that you can actually do what you want to do, that is the moment where things shift for you. Peace. Welcome. My name is Marquita. I am a spiritual coach, a nomad, an author, and I'm also the host of the podcast, the Alchemy Soul Podcast. So if you're interested in checking that out, please check the description for where you can find it. On this channel, my intention is to help women stop living the life that they do not want to live, and to start embracing their identity, their truth, whatever they desire for their dreams and their reality. So if that's something that you're interested in, please be sure to subscribe. So for a long time, I had this belief that things in life were supposed to be hard. I had a belief that without pain, there's no gain, right? No pain, no gain. I had a belief that you have to make so many sacrifices in life in order to truly live a fulfilling life. Last year, I didn't work the entire year in 2025. Like, I didn't work at all, and like everything was taken care of. Like all of my bills, all of my rent, all like my car was paid off, all of my insurance. Like, I was literally living a life of ease. I wasn't worried about anything. I wasn't stressed. I was relaxing. I was calm. I was at peace, and I was learning how to soothe my nervous system. And little did I know, the work that I was doing last year was to prepare me for this year and this journey that I'm currently on. For those of you who are new here, I just moved out of the States, and I am currently going to, embrace being a worldwide traveler. Last year, I remember having this realization of like, why do we feel like we have to struggle in order to be rewarded? And I do have a belief that, of course, life comes with ebbs and flows, but I also understand that the ebbs and flows are inevitable, right? Like, you are always going to be getting a lesson in a season, no matter if it's a relationship lesson, no matter if it's a financial lesson, no matter if it's um, like a travel lesson. It doesn't matter what it is, you're always going to be getting a lesson. So I started thinking, like, if I'm always going to be getting a lesson, no matter if I'm doing what I want to do or doing what I think I should do, then why won't I just do what I want to do and still get the lessons? Right? Like, it makes sense to me. I'm not sure. What do you think? Do you think that it makes sense to you? Like, if you are going to at some point fall down anyway, whether you are doing what you want to do or whether you're doing what you think you're supposed to do, you may as well fall down doing what you enjoy doing. So that way you can learn the lesson around what you actually want to do so that you can do it better. Right? That makes sense to me. And so for myself, I my career is that I was a social worker. Right? I am a licensed clinical social worker. I went all the way through and I got licensed. I was like, I really don't want to do this. Right? Like, it came a point in time where I was like, I really don't want to do this, and I have no idea how to make a career pivot. And so I just kept doing it. I just kept working with clients. I kept doing my therapy, and it made sense, right? Because that's what I had to do to make ends meet. But then it came to a point where last year, actually, when I wasn't doing anything, I was like, I don't have to do this. And so, me and my spirituality and the things that I believe in, I did a burning release ceremony. I probably did several burning release ceremonies around this therapy, social work kind of roles, and I released it. And that's probably the reason why when I got the job in January, February, when I got the job in February and they fired me 2 weeks later, that's probably why as well. But it's a bunch of reasons and stuff, around that. But this role of me being a social worker, I didn't know another way to go. Like, I didn't know how to take the skills that I had learned as a social worker and cultivate them into my own entrepreneurship, into my own creativity. And so you all are witnessing what that looks like right now, right? Because this is what I want to do, right? I want to speak. I want to teach. I want to inform and help people remember their power, and help women, particularly, remember their power and remember who they are before they told you who you had to be. And so I'm taking one skill set that I've learned, you know, in social work, which is the therapeutic part of it, and bridging it together with speaking, which I really enjoy doing. Once I let go of the social work, I then had to understand for myself that the things that I actually want to do in life, they can support me. I think that the reason why people believe that they cannot do what they want to do in life is because they don't believe that they will be supported. You don't believe that you will have the financial support. You don't believe that you will have maybe the public support. You don't believe that maybe you will have the support of your spouse or your child or your mom or your dad or whoever it may be, right? And so that keeps you in the box of the unspoken expectations, spoken or unspoken, I don't know, but the expectations that you think you are supposed to live up to. And I'm here to tell you that you deserve to allow yourself to do the things that you want to do. I would say for me personally, I went through a lot more mental breakdowns. I went through a lot more emotional turmoil. I went through a lot more financial burdens. I struggled a lot more when I was doing what I thought I was supposed to do. And then it came a point this year, really this year, to be honest, where I was like, yo, what do I have to lose? What do I have to lose? I would much rather fail doing what I love to do than to fail not doing what I want to do. And of course, it's always there, right? Like, I always have a backup plan, but as I've said in one of my other videos, like, I'm not a plan B kind of person. I am a plan A. I'm a plan A and pivot. Plan A and pivot. Plan A and pivot. That's just who I am. I'm never gonna plan for my downfall. That just doesn't make sense to me. It's not the way that I live my life. And so where I am right now within this whole embracing ease is that it's so normal to not always be on go, go, go. Last year, when I did not have anything to do, it took me some time to learn how to sit down. Like, I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't even really traveling. I didn't feel the need or urge. I took 2 trips last year. Yeah, 2 trips, and then one of the trips I was actually moving. So, but yeah, but that's a little bit abnormal for me because normally I'm always moving, right? Like, because I'm nomadic. And so last year I learned how to sit down. It was like spirit really sat me down. It was like, everything is taken care of. All your bills are taken care of. You don't have anything to worry about. And so, pretty much what I was doing was I was going to the gym, coming home, journaling, writing, sitting down and watching TV or watching YouTube or something like that. I did a lot of spiritual work last year, a lot of hoodoo work, and learning what that really looks like for me in my life. So last year was a very calm and transformative year, but it taught me that nothing is going to happen. Like, if you decide to not do anything, like, the world is not going to burn down around you, right? Like, you're always going to be supported in some way, shape, form, right? um we think that if we are not controlling things, right, if we don't have our hand in it, we think that it's not going to be taken care of. last year taught me how to surrender. It taught me, it's so funny because on one of the trips that I did go on, I actually got surrender tattooed like right here on my hand. I'm pretty sure y'all can't see that, but I got surrender tattooed right here on my hand. And it's always there with me. And I look at it all day long, like, because we do have a belief that, and I mean, it's the ego, right? This is the ego, and that's why it's so important to make sure that you're doing work with the ego. If you don't know, where to start, and if you have no idea about what it even means to work with the ego, you can check my description for a link and you can book a call with me and I can help you through that. But you have to be mindful of your ego because it wants to keep you safe. And if you don't transcend the ego and move past what the ego believes is safe for you, then you will always stay in that box. The ego wants to control things, the ego wants to be in charge of things. But at some point, because this is a co creative reality, right? This is co creation. God lives in you, right? Yes, you have the egoic self, but you also have the spiritual self. You have the ego and you have the consciousness or subconscious. Like, you have that God energy in you. And so you have to work with the God energy or the spirit energy. And so you have to allow things to manifest for you when it's time. And you have to feel the support of the spiritual energy and feel the support of the inner, like the universal energy. I did a lot of work to get to this point. I did a lot of work to get to this point, and I'm proud of myself. I'm always gonna, give that little, because I think that it's important for you to be proud of yourself. Because if you ever get to a point where you just let go and be like, man, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? And you actually do it, you have to celebrate yourself. Because it may not be a whole lot of people who's going to celebrate you because they don't understand what you're doing. And so for me, I'm going to be a worldwide traveler. I have a daughter. She's 4 years old, about to be 5. I left my daughter with her dad. Why? Because I have to do what I want to do. I can't put my desires and my dreams and the things that I really believe can manifest for myself on hold just because I have a new role in life. We will find a way to make it work while also making sure that I'm still doing what I want to do in life. Right? So it's like you put yourself at the center of your universe and you allow everything else around you to act like all the other energy. You allow it to acquiesce to you, to the things that you want to do, to your purpose. And it works. Like, it has to work, right? Especially when you're talking about purpose, especially when you're talking about things that set your soul on fire, and you know what that is, right? You can feel it inside of you. It's what you're naturally drawn to. And so, yes, like, let me see, if you are a person who really enjoys sewing, if you're a person that like, oh my gosh, I really, really enjoy sewing. Like, this is something that it lights my soul on fire. Follow it. Follow it. It doesn't mean that you have to completely strip everything that you've ever known, but sometimes it does require that. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it requires you just letting go of everything that you've ever known in order to make room and space for a new life, a new identity, and what you actually want to do in life. You are worthy, you are valuable, and your value is not only rooted in the roles that you serve. Your value comes just because you are, just because you exist, just because you are a woman, right? Your value is just because you're valuable. And so if you allow that energy to be your driving force, what do I want to do? Allow it to be your driving force, then things have to be easier. They have to be easier. It should not feel so chaotic and crazy. I have my spiritual mentor. I reference this a lot because it's gonna sit with me and ride with me until like the end of time. But I asked her one day. I asked her how what are some words of advice you would give to somebody who wants to be a spiritual entrepreneur. And what she said was, you gotta let spirit lead, no matter how it may look. You have to allow spirit to lead. And I hand that same thing back to you. When you allow yourself to do the things that you want to do, that's in nature is spiritual, right? You transcend the ego. You're riding with spirit, right? The co-creative reality. You're riding with spirit. Just say you flying with spirit on its back, and allow it to take the routes that it needs to take, and allow it to open the doors that it needs to open, and allow it to connect to the opportunities that are meant for you. That's how it becomes easier. That's why it is that is why it is easier, because you have to surrender, you have to trust in spirit, you have to transcend the ego. The ego is still important, right? Like, you're never going to. I know I hear people talk about ego death and all of that, but that's not a thing. Like, you need the ego. Like, we are on planet Earth. Like, you have to have some sense of the ego, right? You cannot have a God, like your God complex. I feel like if you think that you are having an ego death, it's going to come into a God complex where you may feel that you are superior or better than, other people. And that's just not the case. But everybody has the same opportunities, the same powers, the gifts. Like, everybody is special in their own way and in their own rights, right? And so that is the egoic part of yourself, is because every single person has something that is special and unique and just amazing about them. Ego wants to keep you safe, but you are in control of allowing spirit to move you. Some of the things that I did in order to learn to embrace ease is I meditate daily. Every single day I meditate. Today I meditated 2 times, and I'm probably gonna meditate again before I go to bed. It's a full moon, so I'm definitely like trying to like calm my emotions and all of that, because things are a little chaotic. They're not chaotic, but my emotions are a little all over the place. And so I meditate every single day. The meditation is the piece that got me closer to spirit. The meditation piece is what helped the doubt, the worry, the stress that would play over and over and over in my mind. That is what helped it to silence, like quiet. And I got to a point, it's funny because I had another spiritual mentor and teacher that I was working with last year, like earlier in the year. And I remember when I first started working with her, it was in 2024. And we probably worked together for 6 months. And when I first started working with her, I was like, I want to learn how to trust myself. And what I meant when I was telling her I want to learn how to trust myself, it was I wanted to learn how to trust my gifts. I wanted to learn how to trust my inner voice. I wanted to learn how to trust the direction that I was taking in life. This year, when I decided, I'm about to do it. I'm going to be a worldwide traveler. I am going to stay consistent and allow myself to be seen on these interwebs. It was when I started to do that is where the trust within myself deepened, because I stepped out on a ledge, right? And I've still been supported. Every single time, I'm a risk taker in a sense. Like, I try to transcend the ego often. Like, I step outside of the box a lot, right? Because you're constantly going to be transcending the ego. Like, it doesn't stop. Like, they're going to continue to be boxes and boxes and boxes, right? So you're constantly having to go past what, you have known. And so when I started to, work with transcending the ego and making sure that I stepped out on the ledge time after time after time, that and I was supported, right? Like, I was supported. I've only had just a tiny smidget bit of experience where I was couch surfing and kind of homeless. I've definitely had moments where my account was in, negative and I didn't have no money in. I've experienced some really hard times, and well, they felt like really hard times at that time. I feel like that was probably like my greatest fear, and it has already manifested. So now I'm like, oh, I don't care, because if it happens again, like it just happens again, like whatever. Um, because I know that things are gonna work out, right? Because they did and they have, right? And so what I just want to end this with is, when you take risks and you bet on yourself, you come into alignment with spirit, you allow spirit to take the way. That's when you grow a level of trust with yourself and a level of trust with your spirits. And that is when you can see that it can be easier. And so that's all I got. That's all I got. Marquita, she got something to say. She got something to say. And so I will see you all back here tomorrow, because I got something to say. Peace, love, and light, beautiful souls.